back to another episode of Late Entry. Late Entry is hosted, as always, by Sad Boy Kyle,
How we doing, everyone?
Star Jackson Dart.
What's going on, everybody?
We are joined by special guest once again, Precious.
What's going on, everybody?
She Don't Know Ball on TikTok. Make sure to give her a follow.
Hell yeah.
Great content. We've got a packed show for you guys tonight. We got the first NFL Sunday out the way in the books. We had some great games today. We're going to start off in a minute by talking about the thriller that we just had with Buffalo and the Ravens. Going to talk some Packers-Lions, the Jets, and the Steelers, and a few other ones. But, let's get right into it. We were given two absolute gifts of a game today. And the most recent one, the Bills and the Ravens. Sensational. Ravens in control of the whole game. Comes down to I almost called him Mark Henry. Derrick Henry fumble. And the the Bills bring it back. So
shout out Mark Henry, man.
Shout out Mark Henry.
Man, for real.
World's strongest man. Toph, your thoughts on this Bills game?
Man, you know what? Let me start by giving some props to Sad Boy Kyle. Just a couple of months ago, we did our quarterback rankings. Who did you have at number one?
Joe Burr.
Joe Burr? Okay, well,
you thought he had
after today, when I saw them two go up against each other, easily QB1 and QB2. I mean, they're both. Both of them played a masterful game.
They did.
Definitely one of the better games I've seen, in years. We always talk about, Buffalo and Chiefs as a rivalry. And then we got to start adding the Ravens and the Bills in there. Because anytime they play, man, these two, at any moment, it came down to it, the ball last. I think, my biggest takeaway, like I said, they were up by 15 points. But I feel like the Ravens started to play not to win. It started like, they got kind of scared. They weren't playing their game. Of course, the Derrick Henry fumble, that's tragic. But at the same time, if you're Lamar Jackson, he was wheeling and dealing. He was finding people up. He was running it. You got to give him the ball at the end of the day. Let him close the game. If you want to win the game, you put a team away. You don't just sit there, run the clock out. Because we've seen Josh Allen, they do miracles, come back with, within 13 seconds. Against the Chiefs, like you got to put that guy away. You can't give him any kind of chance and things like that. For most of the game, I feel like the Bills, their interior defensive line, other than Ed Oliver, it was just lanes left and right. Dick Henry gashed him up. I feel like he always just kills the Bills. That's a guy you don't want to attack, especially late in the game. He did a Cardinal sin. You got to hold that ball in there, man. Keep trying to stiff arm everybody. I know you're as big as, the O-line and D-line. But come on, Henry, you got no better than that, man. But like I said, it was a masterful game. It's one of the better games I've ever seen. I got to tip my hat to Josh Allen, man. That guy's the real deal, the real MVP. Please stand up.
Hey, let me piggyback off there just for a sec because a few things I want to follow with Toph. The person you should be giving credit to is your boy over here for two reasons. When we did our quarterback rankings, I had Josh number 2, second to only Mahomes. We'll talk about Mahomes a little bit later, but I also
you guys both had Mahomes. He was my number. He was my number 4, by the way.
I know that was crazy, but when we did our MVP picks on Wednesday, I had Josh Allen, and I feel like this cemented that even more because over the weekend I started kind of wishy-washy on that, and I was thinking about bringing it up tonight, but I was like, let me ride this out and see how this goes, and tonight proved the point of why I had him as that. Lamar is undeniably amazing. I'm a huge Lamar fan. We talked about that before. And obviously, Derrick Henry, his fumble, killed him tonight in a game where both sides had to be pretty much perfect. But Derrick Henry was going crazy. That man put up like 175 rush yards, I believe.
169.
169, okay. He had 2 touchdowns. Damn, that little loss that he had, it killed my. I thought I had a parlay at 170 that I hit, so I just lost it by a yard. But neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that man looked like a freaking beast tonight. Just showing the fact that age to him is just a number. It does not matter how old he is. He's not hitting the Todd Gurley cliff. He's still going. But the same reason that Jalen Hurts is going to have a hard time winning MVP, it has to do with the fact that their running backs are all world. And so when you've got a running back that good and your roster is that good, it's going to be hard for the voters to look at you and say, if we take you off the team falls back that much. Now, Lamar is great, but you juxtapose that to Josh Allen on the other side. That man was going crazy. He was putting on a masterclass tonight. And James Cook is good, but James Cook is not Derrick Henry. His receivers made plays, but there were some drops too. But Josh Allen single-handedly keeping plays alive, throwing the balls, as a phrase I've talked about before, being a force multiplier. Josh Allen had his cape on tonight, and every time they had to make a play, he was making the play. Even the plays that didn't happen, he had the ball exactly where they had to be. I think like halfway through the game, Colin Cowherd had even tweeted. He was like, Josh Allen is playing like a Hall of Fame level, but Lamar has the better team. And basically that's where my whole situation of thinking that he's going to be the MVP is coming from. Not that Lamar is undeserving of it, but because Josh is just doing so much more. And that, to me, was the takeaway from this game.
Yeah, especially from number 26 dropping that touchdown. That was in the bucket. Should have caught that. That probably would have ended the game right there. But, yeah, 26 needed to come down with that for sure.
Yeah, that was right off the hands. Perfect breadbasket. Buddy read the coverage perfectly.
Dying.
They had a perfect pick route, too, to slow the defender down. It was perfect. Yeah. Takeaways from this game, never count Josh out. Derrick Henry's human. We found that out tonight. I think they were thinking like you say they got scared. I agree with you a little bit, but I think they were just thinking like, oh my God, he's been picking them apart all night. Why not keep going to him? But at the same time, you already got him in cover one, probably, half the time. So why not choose that moment to air it out, pick apart the defense that way? As a Ravens, as the Ravens coordinator, like why not try to take those chances, like you said, and not just try to run it up their throats? Obviously, you're never predicting a turnover from one of the best running backs in the game. So you think you can just ride him to the end here, go up 47-25, and then this thing's wraps, but it did not happen that way, and the Bills got that crack in the door, and they took it. So, shout out to the Bills. That's how a quarterback should do it. Sorry, Jared, but what the hell? That's how a real quarterback should do it, man, is just put the team on his back and find a way no matter how adverse it gets. That being said, like a year ago today, we were all talking about Josh Allen, or maybe 2 years ago when he had Brady, not Tom. Was it Joe Brady or Joe Brady, who was his OC, and he's sitting there upstairs just like yapping it up to Jared and to Jared. Wow. I got some PTSD going on. To Josh and Josh couldn't understand anything that was going on, and the offense looked terrible. As soon as they got rid of him, Josh looked great. So you got to let your quarterback be a quarterback, and I'm talking to you, Johnny Morton. But a lot of innuendos here. But the Bills had a great game.
Catching strays all night.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my own team strays tonight.
Real quick before Precious goes to, just to tail off on you talking about taking risks. There were 2 plays tonight by each team that I absolutely hated. The Bills put themselves in harm's way by going for 2 early. What the hell was the point of that? If you get it, because once I mentioned this already, both teams had to play absolutely perfect tonight. So in order to do that, you want to minimize any potential risk that you could possibly have for things to not go well. You had one already on the board. If you hadn't already kicked it, maybe that's a different story. You had one up there. You took points off the board to go for 2 to give yourself a 1-point lead, where the opposite is you have to go for 2 at some point and get it, which I don't think they successfully did once tonight.
No, they missed it twice.
Yep.
Right. So that wound up not biting them in the butt today, but it definitely could have. And it looked like it was going to earlier. That being said, the Ravens need to take some more risk. At 4th and 1 for the game, and you're giving the ball back to the Bills, your defense has not stopped them. Your defense has let them go. They just scored on your defense of the last drive. 4th and 1, you've got Lamar, you got Derrick Henry, you've got good receivers, you got Mark Andrews. Go out there and get that 1. Because if you don't, you saw what happens. I'm not trusting the defense at that point. I'm trusting the 2-time MVP. Go out there and get me 1 yard.
Yeah, really quick before Precious goes, I won't take too much time here. But like in basketball, they say you could play amazing defense, but great offense always wins. That was today. When both quarterbacks are on like that, like both defenses, we're struggling. Both teams have amazing talent. But when you're on like that, you have to take the risks and things like that. Even though the Bills missed, that's why they went for 2. They said, okay, defense is not playing today. We have to get, that 2 points tied up just in case we got to get that field goal or something like that. They got lucky that, it went their way. But like I said, this isn't the old football, when you could just, 4th and 1, you punt it. When you got these super athletes, you could, tush, push, whatever you want. You have to take the risk because just like that, the game could be over.
Precious, your thoughts?
Yeah, keep the ball in your hands, man.
I love the game. Again, I predicted the Bills to win. Again, I wanted to choose the Ravens. But again, just to go back on what Spence was saying, like, Josh Allen does something for that team. I don't know what it is, but it's like he gives that team a jolt of energy that they need at times when they just don't have it. Like, he has to be has to be Superman sometimes. He has to be the man to put the team on his back and does what it needs to do to go get that W. Lamar is great. Nobody's denying that. Great thrower of the football, great runner, all that. But there's playmakers on that team. Didn't Zay have like 100+ yards? Didn't Henry have?
Zay had 143.
Like, didn't Lamar almost throw for like 200? So I mean, like, they got pieces in there to help them. Josh Allen is in there working with Chuck E. Cheese people. Like,
Keon Coleman ain't no scrub. Keon Coleman showed that tonight. He's working up.
Keon Coleman, man.
I'm like, what? I'm like, both defenses didn't look good all night, but I'm like, it's just Allen has to go through this. It seems like every year, he has to pull it out his ass, damn near, for them to get a win. Like, literally, it sucks, but that's what MVP means. Like, literally, if you take Josh Allen off the Bills ain't shit. Bills is not even a conversation. Like, literally, they're not a conversation. They're not top 5. They're bottom of the barrel in the league without Josh Allen. Like, literally.
Hey, Spencer, that's what a force multiplier looks like, bro. I know you said it earlier.
That's what I'm saying, Doug. And
force multiplier. He's beyond force multiplier.
We're gonna talk about your boy in a second and how he's not one of them because there's only a handful of them.
All right.
There's only. Look. We're gonna bridge this gap. Does anyone else have anything else to say about this game before we move on?
No, I mean, I think both teams. Like I said, I would not be surprised if we see these two teams in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
later on the road. Even though the Ravens lost, they still look like one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, we're gonna see these teams again for sure down the line. These teams are gonna battle it out one way or another for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so to bridge
the B team of the AFC, that's what they'll be shooting.
But to bridge the gap between this topic and the next one, the force multiplier thing, there's only a few of them in the league. And it doesn't mean that the other quarterbacks aren't great, but they're not put the cape on and carry us to victory. We've got Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, teetering on the edge based on what we saw the other night. But he kind of folds when the bright lights come on. Justin Herbert. Potentially Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't have that much asked of him. I'm personally putting Baker Mayfield in there. That's the end of the force multipliers. Almost all of them are in the AFC. Now there's a lot of who am I forgetting?
Really quick, would you put Matt Stafford in there? I don't think you said his name.
He's another fringe one.
Fringe, okay.
He's fringe because Matt Stafford has been an absolute hero before, but whether he gets the job done is like, I mean, as a Lions fan, we've seen before, like, I've seen some amazing Matt Stafford stuff, but it's not always enough. But he's right fringe there. Like, he is a damn good, like, let me put this fucking team on my back and carry us there. Sometimes it gets there, sometimes it doesn't. But he's exactly fringe there. But that's the end of force multiplier. Put the cape on, Superman. I will drag us to the finish line. It doesn't mean some of these other quarterbacks aren't damn good quarterbacks. They're just not force multipliers. So let's talk about the game that we all came here for. That Precious is on here to talk about. I want to say a few things. I'm gonna let Kyle defend himself, and then Precious, you can get his ass afterwards. All I want to say is a few things about this.
Me too.
It's almost like I've been saying this entire offseason that losing 2 coordinators matters. That losing your starting center matters. That losing some defensive players matters. All the coaches that you lost matters. That Dan Campbell by himself can't come out here and just do the whole thing. Now, this is only week 1, and things completely can play out in any way they want to the rest of the season. But it's almost like these things that I've been telling the Lions fans, as a Lions fan, all offseason, it's almost like they matter. And y'all been calling me all sorts of traitors and this and that. I've been trying to tell y'all, let's temper expectations. We saw the Eagles go to a Super Bowl, lose both coordinators, and implode the following season because they had to get new coordinators. It's almost like the Packers not losing anybody and adding a first-round receiver and adding Micah Parsons. It's almost like that matters. And everything that I've been saying today, or all offseason, up until this point, I would say was vindicated today. Kyle, a moment for our team.
No, I mean, first off, just to level with what you said, I never said that it didn't matter. I just said that we would.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said Dan Campbell's going to do it. We got Dan.
Can I talk? Can I talk? Can I talk, brother? Holy shit. Jesus Christ. Let me start. Jesus. Jump on my neck. I said Dan Campbell would be able to handle it and weather the storm. I didn't say Dan Campbell would do it all by himself. I thought he made the right hires. I still don't know that that's not the case. All I know is we lost game 1, all right? And yes, there were more growing pains than I had anticipated. I agree with you on that. I definitely thought they would be able to come out here week 1 and patch things together and make it look good. That didn't happen. I know losing Frank Ragnow mattered, dude. I know that. I just thought that the Lions would overcome. That is literally all my argument was that I know this shit matters, but we'll be able to do it. Obviously, words only get you so far, and the Packers were out there for that must need win, and they freaking got it week 1. So kudos to the Packers. I ain't got no love lost either way. I know what it was. I know what it is. And it was only 1 game. We got plenty of time to right this ship. Mind you, the Eagles, who you bring up, Spencer, started 10-1 and then went 10-1 and then went 0-6 or 1-6 or whatever the hell.
Something like that.
They got bounced immediately.
So they started hot, and the Lions have got some growing pains to work through. Hopefully they can finish hot and turn this around. That's the only thing I got to say from this, because if they don't turn it around, I'm going to have to change my name from RBF Kyle to ABF Kyle, always bitch face Kyle. It's just going to be every Sunday I'm going to be up here just I don't want to fucking do this anymore. So they better turn that shit around for the sake of this podcast, because this is not going to go well if we keep losing.
Precious, before you get in here, Toph, I just want to ask you a quick question. Do you feel like Kyle is being forthcoming about how tempered his expectations were for this first week?
You know what? It's you know what? My beef ain't really with Kyle. It's with these other motherfucking Lions fans, okay?
Y'all
see the shit they was talking about all fucking off season? All that shit they was talking? Oh, Penei Sewell gonna run all over Micah Parsons. Oh, we just gonna run it up the middle. And thank you, Packers, for shutting their ass up. Because I literally seen no Lions fans on social. Literally, they all disappeared. Literally, they're all gone. All gone in the fucking wind. I better not hear shit from a fucking Lions fan. A Lions fan better not have the Packers name in their mouth until fucking Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, that is the next matchup.
I don't want to hear shit from y'all until Thanksgiving, okay? Now, Kyle, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they dogged you. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm used to it.
I think we were actually pretty nice.
Well,
I'm
you
like,
were. Toph, you were nice. You were.
I mean, I haven't started yet, but
Well, yeah.
I'm making it
You
into
were
the
so
mix.
far. Yeah.
I mean, not for 1 second. I thought it was an easy dub by no means. Like, I didn't think it was ever gonna be a give me win, but I knew the Packers had to come out fast. They had to come out the better competitor, and they had to come out that dog. Like, they had to be physical. They had to control the line of scrimmage, which they did the entire night. They won in the trenches, something we struggled to do all last season. Everybody complained about the CBs. That shit don't matter. Today showed that shit don't matter. Nate Hobbs not there. Did you notice? I didn't notice till goddamn game was over. Real shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know he wasn't even playing because our guys up front was doing exactly what we needed to do. Mark Parsons only played like 29, 30 snaps, and he had the second most pressures next to Van Ness. So I mean, it's going to be a good season. It's just these Lions fans got too big headed for me. I don't like that. They get 2 good seasons, they win a little playoff game, and all of a sudden they're just a shit. Their shit don't stink. Well, guess what? That shit smells like bullshit today. Like straight boo caca. Like straight up.
That was my biggest issue with us the entire offseason is the fact that people did not have, in my opinion, for my own fan base, the objectivity to look at the facts as they were and address the fact that we've got some issues that we don't know yet, and this is not the same team that we've rolled out the last 2 seasons, and have some, hold on, let's see how this goes, instead of, hey, we still top dog, we running shit. And the whole rest of the division got better.
They got humbled.
Yeah. Well, so let's go back to answer the question you asked me a bit earlier.
Yes.
This was, I know I said it and you said it as well too. Like I said, the Eagles are the perfect example. When you're at the top and you win, everybody's gonna want to pick off your coaching staff and things like that. I'm in basketball. I don't think your coaching matters that much in there,
Yes.
but when it comes to football, it matters. A lot. We've seen quarterbacks. They get drafted. Baker Mayfield. He was a first overall pick, bounced around team to team to team, and as soon as you get in that right situation, now look at him. We wrote this guy off. They thought, he didn't have it. He lost his confidence is shot. But Baker is one of the most confident people I've seen in himself. He has that ick factor. He said, they may not be going good, but I know who I am and things like that. He kept with it. That's what I said. When you lose AG, I think the big one, which I saw today, losing the offensive coordinator, I think we're going to see him tomorrow night, see how they do. That was the biggest one. Because I'm watching this team. I saw Micah Parsons, dog Penei Sewell, put him on the ground. I said, oh, boy. They've been talking about Micah like crazy. He can't stop the run. He's not all that. You don't think, after all they've been talking about him, he doesn't have that, I got to prove myself factor. He was mad. People out there dogging his name. I don't think he's the best, but I think he's definitely top 5, top 3. He does do that thing, and that's what he's on the Packers to do. His job ain't to stop the run. His skill set is getting to the quarterback, putting the pressures. He got his set, but you could see just him on that team. The team was amped up. That's all you got, because you can't block Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons. It's not possible. And they didn't have Kenny Clark, but we said the Lions have what, 2 best running backs in the league? I couldn't tell today. No Kenny Clark, they still did their thing. The biggest thing, I got some notes here. Hold on, guys. Let me get to it.
Yes, sir.
The Lions, on 3rd down, they were 5 for 15. And only 2 of those they converted with rushing. So 13 passing, 2 with rushing. The Lions' identity was, what your person said, control the line of scrimmage. We're going to outdog you. We're going to just, do what we want, impose our will, run the ball. You can't stop us. And today, I didn't look at it. You had Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think is an all-world person. He had 10 catches for 31 yards. What was the plan there? Too much dinking and dunking. The Lions used to run the ball, play action, beat explosive plays. There was no explosion from that team. And so I'm a little worried that without their OC, they also lost a passing coordinator. I think he's actually in the Jets. I forgot his name.
He is.
But AG said I got to get this guy because I'm impressed with him, and now I'm kind of worried that what is your identity going forward? You still want to keep the run game? I know you just re-signed J-Mo to the big deal. You're trying to be more of a passing team, but I think the team is built to in the trenches and run the ball. So I'm a little worried that again, it's week one. I think they'll get it figured out, on the road. But from what we first saw, I'm a little skeptical about that right now. I still think they're a good team, but I think, like I said, the Packers didn't really lose anything. They only gained. You've seen the Chiefs, what's impressive about them, they've been good for so long, is they still lose players, but somehow it may not look good. Don't just put up the numbers, but the team still wins. And like I was saying, I think it's coming at that time that, they can't do it anymore. When I say, I think they got to make that big trade. I'm looking at it, and they got people getting injured. The depth isn't what it used to be. Where I think, you add, instead of having just, super good, quality, sometimes you need quantity, the depth. We saw the Eagles. I'm not going. They didn't look that good. They didn't have that depth anymore. Dak Prescott was doing what he wanted, even though they still won the game. But it didn't look the same. They didn't look as dominant as they were last year. So I think at a time like NFL, you got to have the stable. You got to have the depth. Because if one person goes down, one person can't carry the game.
I want to show y'all something
true.
real quick.
That is true.
I want to show y'all something real quick. Because I said that when the Packers got Micah, I said it's over from the NFC North. And everybody was saying, oh, no, it doesn't matter. Can I please show y'all the Micah Parsons effect?
Hold on, let me turn my fan on. This hot as hell.
Just the mere presence of that man caused a lot of havoc. Run.
Did y'all look at him fight through the entire offensive line?
Yeah.
We the ones.
Yeah. So
now just imagine when dude starts getting like 50, 60, 80 snaps.
Yeah.
I mean, you want that? I don't think he even has to. Well, I mean, of course, you want him to kind of, get better. But like I said, I don't think you want him to have to carry the game like he did in Dallas.
We got
Rashawn Gary and him on the two opposite side, that is a lot to deal with.
And they already talked about in the game that they're going to be using him as a chess piece. They moved him around. He wasn't always on the edge. They had him right over the center. They moved him around different ways. Precious, you brought up some good points. The trenches, a place that the Lions have been successful for the last 2 seasons. Got their asses
killing
it. You could not tell that there was no Kenny Clark there. They had no problem stopping the run. No problem. So the trenches and the running, 2 things that have been our bread and butter, lost them both badly today. And the last thing I want to say, too, is the fact of I know that there was so much bad blood when Ben Johnson made a decision for himself to go to a place to be a head coach with a good quarterback position. Like anyone who would want a job would want to go to their best position. And the Lions fans, oh, we didn't need him anyways. It's Dan Campbell. It's the team. The scheme will be the same without him. What we saw today, what it looked like without Ben Johnson, who everyone was so quick to dismiss. The fact that he stayed an extra year for us to try to get us over the hump. We could not score. We used to drive the ball up and down the field easily. When things got greasy last season, when we lost to the Bills in one of our only losses, we lost to them by, it was like 45-47 or something like that. The game was in the 40s. We scored 0 touchdowns today. We scored what? It was 6? No, I'm sorry. We scored 1 touchdown.
13.
Yep, let me not.
Do you really count that? Do you really count?
I mean, it's garbage time, but it's a touchdown.
No, hell no. Hey, no. No, because that was a crazy catch. Isaac Tesla.
It was nice.
That one
that was a nasty
looking
catch.
like Odell.
It's the only thing Lions fans have to go off of today.
Yes, I would say that.
I mean, I give them. They needed a little bit of hope.
We've been very high on this kid.
We're 0-1. We're 0-1. Little bit of hope is crazy. Go ahead.
Very high on this kid all offseason. I would say that we would want to see, hey, you know what? He can do it. And especially that catch was crazy. That
was wild. I knew the second he caught it, that was in.
Aside from that garbage time touchdown, which I'm not discounting, but aside from that, we couldn't score. 2 field goals the whole rest of the game from the Lions, one of the highest powered offenses the last few seasons. I think we're missing Ben Johnson. And I
No,
think that
definitely.
the team needs time to gel. I'm not writing us off for the season. What I'm saying is that for everyone who wasn't listening before, listen to me now. There is going to be growing pains. And let's temper expectations and see. And let's see if these are even the right coordinators for us. Because with the Eagles, it wasn't. They had to get new ones. Let's see how this goes before we keep running our mouths and make the whole league hate us while we go out there and lay a fucking egg like we did today. And my last thing that I want to say before I hand it off to anyone who else wants to say something. Kyle, we've talked about this before. We had a whole big debate on Jared Goff being a force multiplier or not. When the shit was crumbling today and the team said, Jared Goff, save us, what did Jared Goff do?
Threw a pick. He threw a pick. I remember that. I remember that. He did throw a pick for sure. He did that.
Kyle, what did Goff do?
Look, Precious said it. You gotta make me say it, you fucking piece of shit.
I want to hear you say it.
Shit, all right?
No, I'm good.
Wrap this shit up tonight, okay? He wants to act like today never fucking happened, okay?
I don't. I want to remember today for the rest of my life. I want to remember the shit out of this.
Really
I
quick,
really
who
do.
the Lions play next?
Bears, I think. Bears at home.
They'll be all right.
Hopefully. We're going to see how good the Bears are tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Bears and Vikings tomorrow. That's
I very much
JJ
feel like everything Spencer's saying about the hype Lions fans is directed at me. There's a lot of them. I really want to preface that this was. Look, I just really want to. Can I talk again? Or you're gonna cut me off some more?
Go for it.
I really just want to say that I was a firm believer in this team. I feel like the heart of your fans is where it starts. Like, you got to have belief from your fans. So the reason I called you a traitor the second you said the NFC North is fucked is because I said one player doesn't completely make the NFC. And I get what you're saying. There's a lot going on over here. Like, we got a lot of noise, like a lot of people leaving. It happened, and I really thought going into today that Dan Campbell would put his coordinators in the right position right away. That being said, Ben Johnson, who you guys are so nutworthy over, he started 1-6 his first year as OC. So if Johnny Moe can even start 500 and then we start to get our stride again, then look out for this team down the road.
But that's the part that no one's been acknowledging. Everyone's acting like we just pick off.
I have acknowledged that, bro. I have said that. I said I thought it would be quicker. I thought it would be right away, that Dan would be able to have that. Dan, I thought, was the force multiplier of this whole situation. Like, that he would be able to get him over the hump, that Jared's pre-snap recognition would get him over the hump. Obviously, Frank Ragnow had more to do with their pre-snap recognition than I realized, because we looked freaking terrible out there, and Jared was letting plays not get killed that he definitely should have let get killed, or unalived for our TikTok audience. But I really just, I don't know. I had so much belief in them. I still do. I still love this team, obviously.
No one's writing off the Lions by no means.
No, absolutely.
We know Lions are gonna figure whatever it is they need to figure out so they can get back on track. This is just one game.
It's one game.
I want to let you get in here real fast, real fast though. Just to your Dan Campbell point, and this is what I'm talking about. And no, it's not just you, Kyle. You're the face that I have to argue with here. That's been very loud.
Unfortunately, we don't have.
I mean, Kyle's been on my fucking ass the entire offseason. So you're part of this, but you're not the only person. There's a lot of
I've
other
not been
people.
on your ass, but okay.
There's a lot of other people that have been the exact same way. I mean, I'm from Michigan. I talk to Lions fans all the time. I was arguing with somebody in Traverse City about this, the exact same thing. But how the rest of the league views us is kind of what I was talking about. And somebody, it's a Chargers fan, and posted this tweet. His @4verts_. Dan Campbell, now that he can't just yell on the sidelines and hope Ben Johnson does the rest, and it's a fucking video of Tyrese crying. That's how they see us. Well, we're saying that Dan Campbell's the force multiplier. A lot of people view it as that. So I'm just trying to say that, like, as a collective, let's take a beat. Toph?
Yeah, really quick. Let me cook real quick. Like I said, let me finish here first. Dan Campbell, I love the guy. I think he was the right guy for that team.
Whoa.
You know,
No, I'm just kidding.
see, here we go. Because like I said, he played for the Lions. You know, he really wanted that job, and you could tell the words that he had. You know, the team bought in; they resonated. But your head coach is only one person. Dan Campbell might not be the best person to X and O. He's more of a motivator. You know, he's a player's coach. Those offensive coordinators, like not every head coach is a play caller. Ben Johnson, once he kind of, got in there, got his scheme, got his players, then that team took off really quick. LSU, Joe Burrow. You know who their offensive coordinator was the year that they quote unquote the best team in the league or in the college?
Was it Ben Johnson?
No, it was Joe Brady, that guy in Buffalo.
Ah.
And we give him the high praise in there. Joe Burrow went to Ohio State, got beat out, couldn't beat out our quarterbacks. He transferred to LSU. As soon as Joe Brady got there, they took off. The rest is history. Shane Steichen, he was the Eagles OC. Jalen Hurts turned it around, took off. Jaden Daniels, he had Cliff Kingsbury. We see it in Arizona. Commanders were just talking about that dumpster fire. Had new owners and things like that. It only took him to get that right player, to get their steam together, and now look at it. It took off. Like I said, it's not just like, head coach can't do it all. I think Dan Campbell's great, but he's got to find that right OC. If you're going to go with Jared, you got to find the system. The scheme's going to work for you. One person can't do it all. Now, if you get that force multiplier, like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Holmes, that's a different story. Their talent alone could probably outdo that. With the Lions, they're a good team together, but they don't have that guy that puts the keep on. So I don't care what's going on. I'm going to win this game. So like I said, you got to have the full coaching staff. It matters in the NFL.
I'm 100% with you. And yes, Dan Campbell, he is the guy. He's the spirit. He is the motivator. He is the engine that keeps the train moving. But it doesn't mean that he's going to be the one to call the plays now that the guy that calls the plays is gone. For both sides. And we talked about Ben Johnson already. Let's not sleep on Aaron Glenn either. The guy that was still making the defense work with 22 people on IR.
And I remember when they were calling for his job.
And he looks
I was looking bad. They wanted to get him out of there.
We're going to talk about the Jets in a little bit too, but they looked really good today. Game 1.
Yeah, they played one hell of a game. I watched that game. It was
shout out Justin Fields, Ohio State. Let's go.
Pretty damn good game.
Kyle, Precious, do either of you have anything else you want to add to this?
No, it's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this North kind of shapes out. How everything kind of turns out. I know we're only in week 1. Tomorrow we get to see what the Vikings and the Bears have to offer, but this season is going to be a good one. I don't see anybody just kind of running away with the North just yet. But I can see it being a dogfight for sure. Maybe like 3 teams, like straight dogfight. Like everybody's constantly fighting for that number 1 spot up. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a great season, and I can't wait to see how everything turns out for sure.
Prediction time for you, Precious. Where do you have the Lions, or not the Lions? I'm sorry. Where do you have the Packers making it this season? How far do they go?
You want the logical answer or the delusional answer?
We want your true answer.
Your true answer. Yes, your true answer.
Whatever your heart says.
I'm gonna be straight up. I want nothing less than NFC Championship. I ain't gonna lie. The fan in me wants to say Super Bowl, but I can't just say, oh yeah, we're gonna go all the way because shit happens. But
it's week 1.
NFC Championship is where my mind is headed. Like that team with the pieces we have right now, there's no way we can't get in there some way somehow. I don't see that not happening. I'll be surprised if it does, though, because, again, it's the NFL and crazier shit has happened.
The Packers looked really good today. I'm trying not to get too high or too low. I believe in my team. I believe in my boys. Obviously, I think I even said it earlier in the offseason that they were the team I was kind of looking out for because of what Spencer said of just how nothing's changed. So as the offseason went on, I slowly started getting more and more like, whoa, what's going on with these Packers? Like, why aren't I hearing any noise from the Packers like I usually do? Why aren't I hearing about Jaire Alexander getting pissed off at his coach? I know he
really
gone.
quick.
I know
he
he's
looked
gone.
Awful today.
Yeah, he did. He looked terrible.
He looked really bad.
I know he looked awful.
I'm sorry.
I know, but
he was getting
I mean,
cooked.
I'm trying not to get too high or too low off this loss. Obviously, like Precious said, long season. You never know. My expectations for the Lions is NFC Championship still. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see us get back and find a way to fight through this adversity because after all, it is one game. But we do have one of the toughest football schedules this season. So we got to right this ship ASAP. Rocky.
The whole NFC North schedule is bonkers right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
We're all like our next 5 games are pretty crucial because we have an early bye week too. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Them early bye weeks can really hurt you in the back end, especially when you're going back to back with juggernaut teams. Yep. And plus, at the back half of the season, after week 11, it's going to be like fucking divisional games back to back to back.
Yep. And we had week 4 bye last year. It was obviously you saw what happened to the Lions defense after that. So it's rough when you got an early bye.
Yeah.
I would say
y'all gotta squeeze out some good wins because them divisional games 3 weeks in a row. That shit ain't gonna be no cakewalk.
No way.
I've already told you guys. I think that with the addition of Micah, when you go out and make a move like that, it's NFC Championship or bust for the Packers. Expectation wise of what they should be holding themselves to when you acquire a talent like that. For the Lions, I think that considering we didn't make the NFC Championship last year, I think that for me to consider this a successful season, I would like to first see us learn how to score some points. Let's get the offense moving again. And then let's make the playoffs because that's going to be a hard task in the division that we're in, period. Once we get into the playoffs, anything can happen once you make the dance, but you got to get there. And we've got a long way from what I've seen week 1 to go, especially in our division, to make the playoffs. So let's make that. Let's take it a week at a time. Let's, as fans, take it a week at a time. And let's try to make the playoffs. And then let's see what happens from there. And I'm not saying that like in a joking way. I'm all Lions. I got jerseys behind me. I'm rooting for them. But I'm just saying, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this team looks.
Who do you guys got for tomorrow? Vikings or Bears?
Well, shit, we were going to get into that, but let's go right now. Shit. This one's a tough one for me. If we're talking money line, I think I might go with this is tough. I think I might go with the Vikings. I think it's going to be a really close game.
I'll say Bears just because it's J.J. McCarthy's first game. We don't really know what he can do. We have an idea what Caleb can do. We just don't know what he can do with Ben Johnson. That's going to be the missing piece right there. Seeing how those two quarterbacks kind of like gel with these coaches, like that's going to be interesting to see for sure. I'm probably gonna say Bears on that one, just because Caleb, he's already a year in the system, even though you got a new head coach and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go Caleb on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if Vikings take it though. They got Justin Jefferson over there. They went and got back Adam Thielen. So who knows? They might just slug it out tomorrow night.
It feels like a very 50-50 game.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say straight coin flip. It could go completely either way. You gun to my head, make me pick. I'd say Vikings only because they have the best player on either team in Justin Jefferson.
Exactly.
Is this in Soldier Field or is it in Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
It's in. I think it's in Chicago.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a Chicago home game.
But yeah, straight coin flip. Toph?
I said the Bears. Like I said, just because JJ, this is his first real game. He got injured last year. Caleb at least had some kind of experience. So I'm just going with experience. Even though Caleb doesn't have a lot, he's got something. And I do think the Bears, they've kind of adopted the Lions strategy. They've invested heavily in the offensive line. They got, service running backs. They got 2 tight ends now. So I think we might see a mini Lions kind of offense tomorrow, which I'm very intrigued to kind of see. But I got to go with the Bears on this one.
Hey, you know what? You guys flip me. I'm Bears too. You guys,
Hey,
you
you're
guys'
welcome.
arguments have made sense. Yeah, I'm with that. Precious, tell
I'll
everybody
stick
where.
Vikings and embarrass myself again.
Precious, tell everybody where they can find you at.
You can find me on TikTok at She Don't Know Ball. You know, I go live. I go live with the Packers game. So if you're looking to watch the Packers, follow my TikTok. I'll be showing our upcoming Thursday game against the Commanders. Obviously, we're gonna win. So yeah, y'all can come check me out on TikTok. Let's all have some fun.
She has some
Hell
pretty
yeah.
spicy picks. She did a week 1 prediction, all the games. Some spicy
Yeah,
ones in there too.
I'm a little spicy with my predictions. Like sometimes I'm like, you know what? Maybe you should go here, but I'm like, no, I want to be different. Maybe this. Like I'm the only pick I'm mad about is the Chiefs and Chargers because I caught that upset.
Me too.
I caught that upset, but I
Oh man.
picked Chiefs to play it safe because they got Mahomes and that man be doing some fucking voodoo shit out there. So
The same thing I said. I said I
I'll
just
be
can't
like, he
do
be
it.
working fucking voodoo magic and moving the puppets and shit, and I'm like, yeah, we just gonna go Chiefs to play it
And he
safe, but
and he
Chargers had
still
hell of a
almost found a
game.
way.
I respect Justin Herbert. I know I talk shit about Justin Herbert, but he had one hell of a game.
You talking
I
about
respect that.
you talking about the voodoo magic, that throw that he had where he was falling to the
Oh
wheel
man, that was
route.
Bro,
crazy.
It went over 3 defenders and landed right where it had to go.
Bro.
You
I'm like,
remember
there you go
Will
with the
Levis
voodoo
made the
magic.
same throw last year, and it was a pick, and we killed him for it.
Well, it's Will Levis we're talking about here.
Patrick
Mr.
Mahomes makes
Mayonnaise
shit
in my
happen.
coffee.
Mahomes
Precious,
magic.
thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Always. It's always fun to chat up with you guys, talk ball.
Hell
Again,
yeah.
it's gonna be a good ass season, man.
Absolutely.
Can't wait. Can't wait for Thanksgiving.
I bet you can't.
I can't.
Well, it's gonna be a long wait. It's gonna be
It
it's
will.
gonna take a minute, man.
I'll be patient. I'll be patient.
Hey, give
We
us some
all got to
time.
be patient around here.
It'll give us some time to get the wheels going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get your feet wet. You know, get things under
Yeah.
control down there in Detroit. You know.
Enjoy you some Mike.
Okay, so on to the other amazing game that we had today, Jets versus Steelers. Somehow, by these two quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields, switching teams, they both unlocked something, man, and it was great. That game was an absolute masterpiece to watch on both sides. They were both dealing, and I'm happy because it's two quarterbacks that were seemingly on their way out of the league after not really being able to find homes, and they both look like they were very comfortable in their new homes. Toph, we're watching the game, and you texted me and said that Aaron Rodgers might be able to play a few more games or a few more years if he keeps playing like this. Justin Fields, he looked good in it, and what really made me happy for Justin Fields is a longtime Fields believer that thought that he got done so dirty with the Bears. When they hit him on the sidelines, and the offensive line ran over and started pushing, and I was telling Lexi before the announcer wound up saying it. But the fact that when your offensive line rides for their quarterback like that, yes, it sucks that they took the penalty, but it shows that they have fully bought in on Justin Fields as their leader. They have respect and love for him. The fact that they are willing to, hey, don't touch him, or we'll come over there and we'll touch you. Pause. But yeah, it's but
There it is.
Yeah, well, he said,
but
yeah.
but it made me happy to see that because, like I said, I feel like Fields has not really gotten a great shot anywhere, and the fact that they were both lighting it up today like that was awesome. I think I actually have Rodgers' stats here. He was 22 of 30. He passed for 244 yards today, threw for I think 4 touchdowns. I'm watching the game and I'm watching the game and I'm like, it was probably the most torn I was over a game other than maybe the night game on who I wanted to win, just because I had so much love for both players and or both teams, and obviously Aaron Glenn on the Jets. But yeah, it was really good, and I felt bad for the Jets in the sense that not only did they lose, but I'm sure they're sitting here watching Aaron Rodgers throw 4 touchdowns. Like, bro, you couldn't do that for us. You couldn't do that for us the whole time, but you're gonna do that for them, okay? But they got one on Justin Fields, and their offense looked good, so. Very happy for both teams, and my boy Aaron Rodgers 1-0. Toph?
Yeah, let me start with the Jets here, man. as a resident Ohio State fan, there's nothing better than seeing Justin Fields look like the Ohio State version of that man. This man's been through it all, through Chicago, Pittsburgh. And I still think he played pretty good for Pittsburgh in the 6 games, it didn't look, maybe how they wanted it, but yeah, he went 4-2. He did what he did as a backup in there. I think they could have did something with that. But AG, I was kind of like, watching what I could. I was driving home from work. And he's saying that they sat them together, and AG kind of gave us like, okay, this is like, my vision of the offense, expectations. So I kind of think, at least as of right now, like they're meshing really well and things like that. And as someone that's like, seeing him play, started in Georgia, couldn't get in the game, transferred to Ohio State. But so Ohio State, he was not running that ball. He was throwing that ball left and right. Because we know Ohio State has dummy amount of receivers, you throw that ball downfield there. And that's what he did today. His good friend Garrett Wilson, it looked like his back Saturdays down there in Columbus. And those two, they were on sync. And we know that, Garrett has not had the best of time in New York. He's been requesting for trades. But as soon as they got Justin Fields, that all went out the window. He said, this is my guy. I'm good here now. And I think just the way that the Jets offense looked, we've seen it, Aaron Rodgers, it looked very mundane, between Zach Wilson, you had Mike White, you had everybody under the sun play quarterback for the Jets. Heck, I could have got out there and did something. But just like their complete different look and things like that, I'm pretty sure this was a parlay killer for everybody. The under was 30.5. They well smashed that under, so they lost me today. But you know what? I'm gonna lose my parlay. Let me see a good game. Justin Fields looked like, a complete different player. He looked poised out there. He was throwing tough passes. He wasn't just, dinking and dunking, throwing like a little screen and letting somebody take the distance in there. He was making reads. He ran when he needed to. But I like how he kept his eyes downfield. He wasn't just, play breaks down, I'm just take it off and go. He had the 2 rushing touchdowns, but, it looked different and things like that. That's a different kind of Justin Fields out there. And then Old Man River, like I texted Spence, I said, Aaron Rodgers is a million years old. He could get up out the bed and start throwing that football around. He's one of the most gifted natural throws of the football. So I know he could do that. But like I said, Aaron Rodgers' biggest thing was, he can't put the cape on anymore. He needs the help. And I feel like the play calling Art Smith had, was brilliant. He spread the ball around. Aaron Rodgers always at his best. I know he had, Devontae Adams. That was his guy. But Aaron Rodgers always distributed the ball. We had, Ben Skoranek had a touchdown. Jalen Warren caught one. Like everybody got involved. And just the overall vibe of the team, looked positive. I saw Scotty Miller on the sideline, dapping it up Aaron Rodgers. Everybody looked engaged. I don't know Aaron Rodgers personally, but we always kind of see that he's like a jerk. He's really full of himself. People don't get along with him. I don't know. I don't, get it. I know James Jones, he rocks Aaron Rodgers, says nothing but great things about him. Like, so I can kind of know what I see from on TV, but they look good and things like that. Defense was a little shaky, but like I said, we haven't seen the Steelers offense, put up points like that probably since Big Ben, AB, and the boys, things like that. It was just a good sign for both teams. Even though the Jets lost, I still think, you could put your head high and say, you know what? We like what we did today. We can build on this and things like that. So, they say L is an L, but I still think, you could take some good things you learned from the L and things like that. So I think both teams, this was a surprise. I did not see this coming. Good quarterback deal. We had the young gun against Old Man River. The only thing I think, how long is this sustainable? What we look for with the Jets, with the Steelers, how long is it going to last? Can we protect Aaron Rodgers? Kind of let him coast by. We don't want to do too much, but, just win us a game, make a couple big plays, and let's get on out of there. But it was a very fun game to watch.
Which one do you think is less sustainable? Do you think that Jordan Love, do you think that Fields regresses, or do you think the Steelers implode?
I would say Steelers, just because of Aaron Rodgers, his age. He's been injured. Even when he was young, he's had a collarbone. He's, God forbid, the Achilles one, that happened to anybody and things like that. Like I said, it probably only takes, one big hit from Aaron Rodgers, and that could be it and things like that. Just because his age, like I said, if he goes down, then what? I think he has, a lot for that team. He's got to put on, not the big cape, but he's got to put that coat on and say, okay, you guys need me. I got to help carry you guys. So I just think the Steelers win just because of, Aaron Rodgers' injury history.
Kyle, your thoughts on the game?
It's a crazy pull to even think like we're talking if you're a fantasy manager 5 years ago and you get free agent Aaron Rodgers, you're going ape shit. And now, granted, what have we seen in the last 2 years? Not great stuff out of New York, but he is clearly still Aaron Rodgers. Today showed that 1 o'clock window that they performed really well, and I never thought I would sit here and root that hard for a former Ohio University quarterback. I really never thought I would root for him that hard.
Ohio State, not Ohio. Not that green team. It makes me put the state on the end of it now.
Oh,
I know it hurts.
Said what I said. I said what I said. I never thought I'd sit here and be a big fan of him, but man, Justin Fields is so hard not to love. So I kudos to you, kudos to Jim Tressel and all those guys, whatever the hell. I don't give a shit. I hate that team so much. There's not a team I hate more in football than that team. But I love you, Toph, so that's all that matters.
I appreciate
that. I love Justin Fields. I think he's been wronged on all the wrong ways. I think he should have never been kicked out of the Chicago situation. He was starting to do something fierce, but hey, he's with one of my favorite coaches in the league now, which is Aaron Glenn, of course, right? So I have big plans for them in my head. Like I really want them to be something. Can't say the same for the Steelers, even though I've always been like a lover of the Steelers. Like I can't say the same just because I want to see Aaron Rodgers get his career ended. Like I just want it to be over. So
oh my god,
whoa!
Not like on an injury or something. Not like on an injury. I see how that sounds now. I want him out of the league in a non-hostile way. I'm just done with that dude. But also,
his feelings do not reflect the two of us when it comes to that part. That is
Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite athletes. That's my childhood hero.
I know he is. Which is all the more reason why I think he should be out of here. But he's doing his thing. I'm just messing around for the content, but he is doing his thing, and I do think he found something. Yeah. I do think he found something out here in Pittsburgh. There's something different.
Oh God. On to I would say to some people the biggest surprise of the week. Now, Toph, I know that you said that you are not surprised about this. I know Ant was on Wednesday. He told me, because that was part of my parlay, everything hit but this one. And he told me, he said it's a mess down there, and I did not want to believe it. Colts versus Dolphins. Now, in the offseason, Kyle and I both picked the Colts to be the worst team in the NFL. Both of us were between the Saints and the Colts, and ultimately went with the Colts because we thought that neither team had a good quarterback, but that Kellen Moore might be able to make something shake in New Orleans. Well, Daniel Jones fucking proved us wrong today. That man looked like a world beater. And honestly, the Giants have got to be fucking embarrassed. We'll talk about them in a few minutes. But they have let Daniel Jones leave and Saquon leave. And both of those guys left and look like world beaters. And the Giants still fucking suck. But, yeah, Daniel Jones looked crazy today. He had 2 rush touchdowns. I think he threw 1 or 2 as well. They beat the dog shit out of the Dolphins. The Dolphins came back fully healthy whole offseason. And Tua looked like he just got off of another concussion. It was bad. It was really, really bad. They scored 1 touchdown in garbage time at the end with Achane. Helped with some fantasy points, but that's about it.
I know that's right.
I had Achane.
No, that's right.
I had Achane.
Well, I was looking.
I think that saved a bet and it saved my fantasy week. But yeah, it's bro, what the hell? I was absolutely astounded. I was astounded by both how bad the Dolphins looked and how good the Colts looked. Um, just the absolute difference between the two of them. Like a team that I thought was going to be left for dead, and a team that I thought was going to be really competitive, and just the complete switch between the two of them. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that's like, how much of this is the Colts being good, and how much of this is the Dolphins being bad? You know, from this situation specifically. I mean, you see things like like you just said, Tua looked like he had one of those like helmets that you have when you're 5 years old. Keep your shit straight. He looked like he had one of those on while he was throwing. He didn't look like he had a football helmet on. He did not. I think he might have boarded the wrong bus this morning.
Did you
not
wear a
knowing
helmet
where
when
he
you were a
was
kid?
at. I was a leash kid, but no, not a helmet kid.
Leash
okay.
kid.
I was gonna, you're a leash kid.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I was just kidding.
I didn't have a helmet on
No.
at 5 years old.
Oh no.
No. I'm talking about when you're riding a bike and you got that like styrofoam helmet on, and you're like, "What the hell is this even going to protect me from?" But no, I was a leash kid, but we won't talk about it. Yeah, the Colts versus Dolphins. We're back on that. No, Tyler Warren looked good. He played great. Obviously, Daniel Jones looked good. The Lions looked good against the Dolphins in training camp and in their preseason game with their third stringers. So obviously, if the Lions look good and they got their asses beat, then the Dolphins are something else. So I don't know. I think they got a lot of work to do. I love Coach McDaniel, obviously, but yeah, they got Tyreek has no trust with his quarterback. You got Jalen Waddle, who's good but not great. Like they just are kind of in this position, and Tua was just he had eyes for the blue jerseys today, which was insane. But yeah, how much of this is the Colts being that good, and how much of this is the Dolphins being that bad? That's my question.
Toph?
Yeah, like I said, this one, I was more surprised about like the Jets Steelers than I was about this game. A couple of factors why. Um, this is one I've been caught up myself as well too. Um, like when you play Madden, you go to like the roster list, you can see like overalls. You go down the Chiefs, you got 99, 99. Like when you go to the Colts, like you don't see like a lot of high overalls.
No.
You just see like mid 80s and things like that. But somehow they always just like they play well, and that's kind of what I saw today. Like they don't have like too many household names, but Zaire Franklin, one of the best linebackers in the league, he's been doing this for a long time. Doesn't get his recognition. Kenny Moore, another great corner, things like that, but we don't talk about him. DeForest Buckner, an ex-49er. Nick Cross, he's a great safety as well too. Tavarius Ward, who used to be I think on the Titans, now he's on the Colts. They just play well together and things like that. You kind of sleep on them as well too. And offensively, like you got Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, he'll just get like one deep ball, just make a big splash play and things like Jonathan Taylor. Inconsistent, but man, he's a talent and things like that. It's just weird. Yeah, it's just like you don't like you expect them to lose, but they just compete in things like that. And Daniel Jones, this guy's been through it all and things like that. He was a first round pick, I think either pick 5, pick 6 years ago. I think he has his limitations, but I do think he could be a starting quarterback. He definitely ain't no force multiplier. But, I think, if you don't ask too much of this guy, he can win you a handful of games. I'm not saying he'll get you Super Bowl, but, I think he gets you a good solid 8 to 9 wins, depending on what he has around him and things like that. And Shane Steichen, he is a good coach. Like I said, they don't have like a bunch of like, high profile people, but he gets his team to buy in and things like that. Because I feel like even last year, like I'm doing my parlays. Man, ain't no Colts about to win. Let me take the other team. And I get burnt by it. I've done this so many times. I'm like, you know what? Let me put some respect on these guys' names and things like that. But I think the bigger thing is Miami. There's just gonna be distractions every year. It's Tyreek Hill, 30 baby mamas, he got more kids than catches, touchdowns. There's just always something going on. He want to get traded. He ain't happy. There's
He's
just
just
too much
always
going
knocking girls
on.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tua, like I said, I know Tua, this man said every injury underneath the sun. He's accurate, but like I said, his limitations. Doesn't have a strong arm, things like that. When you got
And he's
Jalen
had a
Waddle,
seizure on the
Tyreek
field.
Hill,
But
yeah, like I said, this
sorry.
guy's had some life-threatening things. Like his family's making this guy like don't do it because, like I said, if he gets one more, who knows? He could have serious brain injuries, just impacting your normal day-to-day life and things like that. And he's still a young guy, but like I said, he says he loves football, and like I said, a lot of people kind of struggle with if you take him out of football. Who am I? What do I do and things like that. So I give him his credit for it. It's probably easy for us to kind of say it. We're not supreme competitors like these guys. Me, I'd be like, I got my paycheck. I'm out of here. I ain't got to play ever again. But for them, it's a different ball game and things like that. But I think another big thing is Mike McDaniel. I know he just says he loves a guy. I don't know how. I don't think he's a head coach. He's just all like he has his antics, things like that. He says some, funny, like witty things like that. But I don't think the players respect him. Like even Jalen Ramsey when he was there, he'd be like, it's kind of weird and awkward, but like when I heard that, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think he can like control, a full team, 53 men that's ready to go out there, run through brick walls. I just don't think he has the voice. I don't think he's the right guy. I think he's more of a coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury. I said his name earlier today. We've seen him as a head coach. Did not work. Well, when you give him offensive coordinator, just sit with that quarterback, he works magic. He's great at that. So I just think everything's just imploding there. Tyreek Hill, he ain't getting no younger. He's already said, "Oh, I'm good now. I want to leave." You're like, you got to make up your mind. It's like the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if I'm gonna retire. I got to think about it. Let me do go to my little darkest retreat. Like we're at the point where I think the Dolphins really got to think: do we just blow it up? We're not gonna have to compete. Two was, in and out and things like that. You really got to have those serious conversations of: is it time to just blow it up, trade everybody, get draft picks, and just start all over again? I kind of think, until you solve those answers, you might be the worst team in the league. We didn't think about it. Those are some real issues that you got to figure out.
Yeah, they look crazy. On to some more craziness. Eagles versus Cowboys. Before we talk about the game, let's talk about Spitgate. I want to talk about my take on Spitgate. I want to get all of you guys' takes on Spitgate before we actually move into the game itself. So, there was the footage that came out of Dak spitting first. I don't know if he was spitting at Jalen Carter or Jalen Carter was there and he was in the middle of the huddle. He walked to the edge of it, spit. He's not going to spit on his own feet or his teammates' feet. There was some space between Jalen Carter. It wasn't a ton. According to Dak, he said that I spat. Jalen Carter asked, "Are you spitting at me?" He said, "Why would I spit at you?" And then they got contentious from there. I don't know if that's true or not. Dak Prescott, for all the things that he is and isn't, does not seem to be the kind of a person that would spit at somebody. That does not. I don't know him personally, but everything that I know about him, that seems like that would be outside of his character. But we don't know these people. What I do know is that Dak spat on the ground. Now, spitting at somebody on the ground is still disrespectful as hell, but it is not the same level of spitting on somebody. My parents, I don't know if you guys know this, my dad used to be an ex-cop. I've always been brought up like to do things the right way in all senses of things. But one thing my dad did instill in me.
So what happened?
Huh?
All right. I said, so what happened? You were instilled to do things the right way. What happened?
Oh, hey, fuck off. So one thing that he instilled in me, though, is that if somebody spits on you, you beat the living shit out of them, which is a little outside of what the law would necessarily say to do stuff on that. But you don't do that. You spit on the ground. You spit on a person. That's the worst insult that you could ever do to that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm viewing you as and you're gonna get to say your opinion, Kyle, because it looks like you don't agree with that. That's how
I
it
mean,
is.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's how it is over on this side. If I spit on you, you were beneath the ground. I didn't even spit on the ground. I spit on you. I would rather you swing on me, because then at least you challenging me to a fight as a man. You spitting on me means that you think absolutely nothing of me. That to me is like the one thing that I would say is personally worse than being called the N word. You know what I mean? Because you were actually physically assaulting me at that point as well too. If you spit on me, no matter where we are, except maybe in TSA, because I don't want to wind up with a no-fly list. Anywhere else than that, everything else is going out of the window. I am beating the shit out of you. You're going to the hospital, or I am, because this fight's not going to end until somebody's fucked up. If you spit on me, that's how I take that over here. That is it's aside from just it being fucking gross, the level of disrespect that comes with that is second to none. There's nothing else I can think of that's more disrespectful you could do to me as a man than to spit on me. And so Jalen Carter, what the fuck, dog? And you just had the last season where it was great and you played great and people weren't talking about your off the field stuff now. But now they're bringing that back up again. The car accident and the fact that you spit on a fucking human being and they're using the word thug. And I have no defense here for you as a man to say that you're not a thug. Because what kind of human being spits on another human being other than a fucking thug? That's it. That's all I got.
Well, and yeah, to kind of to piggyback off your point, like the fact that he was walking off the field, like, man, like you could read his lips. He's like, man, what the hell? Like he was just kind of like, how does that get me kicked out? It's like, bro, you spit on dude. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? And yeah, I do think that Dak had some very weird. I don't know. He spit at the ground for sure, right? But like he spit near a motherfucker, and if you see it in the replay. The second he spit and he realizes that Jalen Carter's into it and is like, I like spit like that. No, he's like, I don't like get the F out of here. It topes out. The second he tuned in like that, he like Dak was like, yeah, like you could see Dak like nodding his head, like yeah, that just happened. So I can't hate on the guy for getting in his face and being like, don't ever do that shit again. But yeah, to spit on another individual, that's the utmost disrespect. Talk about all due disrespect. We got it all for Jalen Carter right now.
If Jalen Carter's reaction was to swing on Dak, and then they said, why did you swing on him? Oh, he spat at me.
He spit at me.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we have a whole different conversation. But you upped the ante by spitting on him.
Yeah, right. You took it to some freaky shit. Yeah, I did not like that, obviously. I mean, who does? That's not good for the sport. We all want to see Jalen Carter on that D-line all game, but he did deserve to be ejected for sure. You do what you do. Second guy always gets caught, but like, this isn't really that because you spat on dude. Can I say that again? I mean, come on. What are you doing, bro?
You were making a face when I was kind of giving my explanation, though. Do you not think that it's as disrespectful as I was saying, or?
So, I mean, I'm not going to compare it to the N-word, nachos, or anything like that, but I do think that spitting on me would be more disrespectful than anything you could say to me. So I do agree with you there. I'm trying to think of the part where I was making the face because there was something I wanted to say to argue with you on it a little bit, but I really can't remember it right now. So as of now, all bets are green. You're good.
Toph?
Yeah, this was one of the most bizarre things. At least 6 seconds into the game, probably one of, if not the most impactful, disqualification other than the quarterbacks being out happened just like that. And I'll hold the L on this one. I picked Jalen Carter for my defensive player of the year, and we are not off to a good start. Missing the very first game within 6 seconds. I think the impact of him not being on that field either one or two things. We either overhyped the Eagles a lot, or Jalen Carter really is that guy that without him, a lot of things, won't fall into place for that team. The whole spitting thing, first of all, spitting, that's like, kids do that part in there. Definitely not defending, never saying it's okay for, you to spit on anybody. That's definitely not, cool whatsoever and things like that. Um, like I said, we don't have any audio. We can't tell exactly what Dak said. We can only see it from video. They didn't show, the Dak thing. I think maybe I don't know if they showed it after the game, halftime, or whatever. Like I said, the only thing that I saw at first was the Jalen Carter side. And, it definitely looked like a one-sided thing. Listen, one of the most bizarre things, but so at the end of the day, the Cowboys had a chance to win the game. You see, they didn't have an all-time just, left my, hands on the bus moment.
Well,
Definitely think.
Before we get into the game, though, real quick, what is your personal feelings on being spat on?
Oh, I'll just say that. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, we've been taught that as a young buck. You don't do that at all. You get parents would have killed me if I'd have did that. If I'd have got them had to come up to my school and said little Toph just spat on little Timmy. I'm about to get a SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 edition. I'm gonna be cooked. So yeah, you definitely can't be out here spitting on nobody now. Come on now.
Okay. But yeah, let's get real quick. Personal opinion for me, and I'm curious what you guys think about this. I want to see like not a 1-game suspension. I want to see like you get what is it? A conduct detrimental to the league.
Conduct detrimental.
Yeah, they give you 4 games.
I think it's like 4 to 6.
I think it's 4 to 6. That's what I think that suspension should be looking at. Because I think that, and I don't know if you guys saw it. I think it was a player from Florida or somebody spat on somebody in college this weekend. I want to nip this all the way in the bud, because what could happen is you spit on somebody and they break your fucking face in front of a televised game. That's not a good look for the league at all. And so I think that you should dead this right now. If you spit on somebody in this league, 4 to 6. Do you think that that's too harsh?
I don't hate it. I mean,
no.
Because I don't hate it. It could incite the most violent act you've ever seen on a football field.
The thing is, that's like the same suspension as a domestic dispute. So,
I mean, they're both physical assault to somebody.
I mean, one's a little bit more,
one's a little different. I'm not saying that they're the same.
Yeah, that levels to it, but the impact the same.
You're both physically assaulted. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's the same thing at all. I'm just saying that it is both.
But I get what you're saying.
It's not words.
It's the same charge. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm with you. Nip it in the bud. We don't need no spitting going around the league. Like, NFL players swap spit enough between their ex-girlfriends, so they don't need to be doing it by spitting on each other.
Yes.
Hey, am I wrong?
Toph, do you think that's too harsh, or you think that's about right?
No, I mean, but like I said, at the same time, like we've had spitting things, happen in the past. Like I said, I think football's just such like an emotion thing. Like, you could have your standard. Like I said, you could say it all you want. Like I said, even gambling, we see this every single year. You think we've nipped in the butt, but it happens. Football's such an emotional thing. Like, somebody does it. Eventually you just black out. You just forget things, and you just, if you're in the moment, you're gonna react.
Hey, so black out and hit me. Don't black out and spit on me.
Yeah, like I'm not saying why. I don't know why they go to that part, but like I said, we've had this in the past. Where people have spit on somebody, and we're still here today.
Okay. Jalen Carter.
I agree. Yeah, give him a suspension, but I don't think you're ever going to completely nip it at all.
But do you think 4 to 6 games kind of detrimental? Do you think that that's too harsh?
No.
Do you think that's right on?
No, I think that's fair.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
At the same time, though, yeah, we gotta regulate the PED and like that. All needs to be. We need like a concrete what X will do to suspend you X amount of games, because I feel like the NFL is so loosey goosey with what they want to suspend you for what offenses. It's so wild.
I don't disagree. Toph, I know I interrupted you. Go ahead and finish with your thoughts on the actual game itself.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I definitely thought, if Jalen Carter would have been playing, it's hard to know what would have happened because he wasn't there literally from the entire game. He didn't play a single snap of the game. But even without him, this guy's not Lawrence Taylor out there where him alone can just wreck a game. Like the Cowboys are still able to move the ball, very easily, all day. And like I said, nobody had them even a shot at winning. You heard that, they have no, run defense. Saquon Barkley might go for 200, no Micah Parsons. But like I said, even with all that, they still probably, like I said, I think that, the Eagles, I think the Cowboys did enough to win the game. CeeDee Lamb he was cooking. I was like, oh boy, I'm about to get cooked in fantasy. Here he goes, getting these catches. He looked like a CD of old. When that man CD gets hot, yeah, it's a wreck because he can wheel them off like no other. And I've seen this man make crazy catches. I've never seen somebody of his caliber drop that many give me ones in the most opportune moments. That is so uncharacteristic of him. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Even with that, like I said, I think Dak looked good as he can. And I would say I think the Cowboys in a better spot than the Eagles. Saquon Barkley, he didn't have the best day. He got him his touchdown, but he still ran the ball, I think like 18 times, only 67 yards, wasn't the most productive. But I just feel like, we just saw, the Bills. Like if you get matched up with that team and you gotta go, possession for possession, like can you match that firepower? And if the run game gets shut down, Jalen Hurts could contain. This is where I feel like, they'd get in trouble. Like I know Jalen Hurts, you had a masterful game, but at the same time, it's the Cowboys. It looked pretty easy. I know they didn't have Micah and things like that. Both defenses played bad. Eagle secondary looks atrocious. If you're not getting the pass rush, if you need Jalen Carter, you lost, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, no big play Slay. Like they had a lot of things that they missed. And, with their corners, they weren't looking too good when they got put down to, one-on-one. CeeDee Lamb was eating, forcing all kind of pass interferences where I'd be a little skeptical with the Eagles to be like, hold on, we got to, open it up. Like we got to throw the ball downfield. Not every game can you just, tush push all your way down there and just make it easy. Listen, I will be a little skeptical about the Eagles for the rest of the season from what I saw.
Yeah, I would say you can go, Kyle.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I hear what To's saying. Worries about the Eagles? I don't know. They just have shown us too much for too long that they'll be all right. Will they get back to the Super Bowl? Who the hell knows? But Jalen Hurts just finds a way to win. Nick Sirianni, he finds a way to win, and they got a lot of continuity in that offense outside of Kellen Moore. So
one possibility, IC's Emma Jean on 23 Mile Road in Macomb.
What the hell? What?
What the
No. Leave it in, I guess. What the hell was that?
What is that?
That was I said something and I think that Siri thought I was trying to
Oh,
match
that was
something
Siri?
out. Yeah, that was Siri.
Oh.
Bro, what the hell? Yeah, Eagles look good, dude. And no, I do think they got a lot tougher competition obviously coming up than the Cowboys, so we'll see what they are made of. But I mean, one target to AJ and like 4 to Devonta. Like, what are you gonna do? I mean, that was weird game. So we'll see what happens past week 1. But I'm not counting them out. I'm not counting them in. I'm kind of with you, Toph.
Weather delay screwed this entire game up. First half, both teams I think scored every single drive.
Yeah.
Dak looked like an MVP caliber quarterback. He was absolutely sensational, making all the throws exactly where he had to be. But both teams, you could tell, were missing their pass rusher. Mike not being there, they could not generate anything on the Eagles. No Jalen Carter. Dak was able to stand back there, stand around, look around, check the weather. You know what I mean? Oh, get down there, make the throw. So both teams completely missing their pass rusher there. You could definitely tell that happened. Then you come out of
Even
halftime.
the running game from the Cowboys, Javonte Williams going for whatever the hell he did, but he got like 22 fantasy points. It's like that's not happening with Jalen Carter in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going that dummy.
Absolutely. And so, the Eagles did just enough to win. CD Lamb, like you said, Toph left his hands in the fucking inclement weather delay. They were still there. That game was completely different after the delay. Both teams really couldn't get anything going offensively. Complete night and day from the first half to the second half. Cowboys have a chance to win. Cowboys gonna cowboy though, and that's kind of what the concerning thing is. This was their best chance. That's what's
You're
scary
not
about
wrong,
this.
but man,
that's what's scary about this for the Cowboys is the fact that they will always, it seem like, find a way to make it look like something's gonna happen and then choke it out right at the end. And without Jalen Carter, this was their best chance to come in here against a really good opponent and get a dub off, knock one off, an easy one here, and they still couldn't get that done. And so when you have Jalen Carter, if he's not suspended for the whole fucking season, when you play against other teams with better pass rush, are they going to be able to play as well? That's the question. So Cowboys have a lot of good to look at, but they also have a lot of potential questions moving forward. Eagles, like always, like you said, find a way to win. This is not uncharacteristic of them. If it's an easy win or a hard win, they always Philly tough it out. So we will see what moves forward for the next. On to some quick hitters. Toph, you might be right. We talked about this on Wednesday. Does Jackson Dart play this week or not? I did not get to watch very much of the Commanders versus Giants game, just because I was more locked in on that Jets one. But I saw the tweets. I saw the stats. Russ did not look good from what I'm hearing. He looked pretty fucking shitty from what I'm hearing. Everyone's talking about play Dart already. And I guess Brian Daboll was not committal about Russ being the starter even for week 2. So I know I had said that I did not think that he was going to play this season. I thought they were going to want to rest him, or not rest him, but let him learn for a season. But if he keeps going like this, we might be seeing him way sooner than maybe anybody thought. So it looks like you might be right on this one. On to some other ones. Mahomes hit stick against the Chargers. I think that someone's going to fucking destroy Mahomes next time he does that because they're not going to. That's what's crazy. Mahomes is always flirting with that line of like, the fake slide and shit like that. He's always trying to do some little greasy shit to kind of skirt around the rules. And for you to hit stick a defender that was clearly pulling up, allowing you to go out of bounds, I think that people are going to see that and say, oh, okay, well, that's not happening to me. And they'll go ahead and take that 15 yards to make a fucking point and smoke his ass. And I think that they should. I think there's going to be bullshit when they get a 15-yard penalty because if you don't, then he's going to do something like that to you. But I just think that that's bad sportsmanship to smoke somebody that's clearly pulling up to allow you a safe passage out of bounds.
No, Matthew Judon hit Daniel Jones with exactly what you just talked about. It was a one-on-one. Daniel Jones would have scored. I mean, this is a little different, right? Daniel Jones would have scored though if Judon didn't hit him, and Judon gave him a freaking haymaker, as a runner. But no flags were called. Nobody had any sorry feelings about it. Like, Buddy made a play, and I don't know. If that would have happened to Pat, you would have seen flags being thrown everywhere. Him
Absolutely.
Getting leveled like that. So I do agree that we need to make it fair on both sides. Either quarterback just needs to run the hell. Like Jordan Love got the penalty today where Aiden Hutchinson hit him out of nowhere, but he was trying to go make a block, so Aiden Hutchinson gave him the level, right? And they call a penalty on it. It's like either the quarterback just needs to get the hell off the field at a certain point, like just put him to the sideline so that he can't get hit and he can't hit anybody, or like, what are we doing here? Just make him another player on the field, So I understand protecting the quarterback, but like we get to a point where Patrick Mahomes can level a defender that would absolutely eat him for breakfast if Buddy got to go and give it the full strength. So I don't agree with the fact how offensive friendly these penalties and these play calls have become because it's bad for the game overall.
I agree. I'm gonna rattle through a few more of these little headlines. If you guys have anything you want to touch on, just stop me. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep going. We'll get to funny posts. Geno Smith, first game with the Raiders today, 24 of 34, 362 yards passing, insanity. One touchdown, one interception. Everyone who was concerned about the calf injury for Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey not only played today, played the whole game, did not leave with injury, 23.2 fantasy points. Here are some lowlights from some players you would not expect fantasy wise. T. Higgins, 4.8 points. Calvin Ridley, 4.7. Jamison Williams, 4.6. George Pickens, 4.5. Nico Collins, 4. Terry McLaurin, 3.7. Jamar Chase, 3.6. Devonta Smith, 3.1. A.J. Brown, 1.3. It was a terrible, terrible week for a lot of skill positions in fantasy. From at NFL Fantasy on Twitter, no player scored over 30 fantasy points so far in week 1. This is the first time 0 players have scored 30 plus points prior to Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football in a week 1 since at least 2000.
Did Josh Allen get over 30 or Lamar today?
I can check. Give me 1 sec.
I mean, they probably did because that was probably posted before that game.
If anything.
Lamar got 29.36. Josh got 38.76.
Yeah, I was gonna say Josh had to get 30.
So Josh broke it.
He was playing.
Broke it tonight, but yeah.
I think did he run for 2 or run for 3 today? Touchdowns.
I can check that too. Give me 1 sec.
I think he ran for 2.
He had 4 total.
I think he ran for 2.
He had 2 rush touchdowns.
Yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah. So it's just insane how bad it was.
Talk about a forced multiplier.
Josh did it all. All right. Who wants to go first for the funny posts?
Shit.
I'll go first. You want to go?
Hey.
All right.
No,
hold on. I got to share my screen again here.
While you're doing that, I'll read a quick one for you guys while you're getting that pulled up. This is from at Barry on here, old Mr. Barry McCockiner. Getting burned by a young hoe, Shannon Sharp and Atlanta Falcons.
That's a good one. Them damn young hoes, man. Get you every time.
So what's his name again? Shout him out one more time for us.
That's old Barry McCockiner. so Barry McCockiner, the guy that has to keep making he has made a million.
He is
a million Twitter accounts because
we need to get him on the pod. We really do. He's made some heaters. He has helped our podcast stay afloat.
Yeah, shout out Barry, man. You here now?
Honey, I'm booked up September to January.
There's no way there ain't one Saturday in there we can get married.
Name a Saturday and I'll tell you.
Okay, fine. November 15th.
Georgia versus Texas, honey. Try again.
What about September 13th?
I'll give you 3 reasons, sweetheart. Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, Notre Dame, Florida, LSU.
Okay, fine.
Finger.
August 30th.
August 3rd. You know what, honey? I think we may actually be able to swing that.
Oh, hallelujah. Okay, baby, so let's play.
Sock! And Miss LSU Clemson. Get wrong.
Football.
Just football.
Honey, they're 19 years old. Why do you care so much about a bunch of college kids?
This is the only time of the year that I feel complete.
Fine. Well, hang it on a Sunday.
Yeah, baby. Why? Yes, 100%. I'm good with that.
Thank you. All right, so let's play.
With Cam Ward running the Titans offense, you're outside of your door.
You don't take the ring.
Well, me, I'll pawn the put it on the dogs to win the Natty on call sheet. Season, baby.
I'm pretty sure I've had that exact same conversation with my fiance.
Oh,
that's
man.
Hilarious. Oh my god.
Football season, y'all know the deal. Saturday, Sunday, ain't no date nights. Don't hear none of that.
So thankful that my girlfriend is into football too.
Hell yeah.
It makes me so happy. Lex and I are sitting here on Sundays doing fantasy together. You know what I mean? My friends know I'm not coming out on a Sunday.
Hey, we only got so many months, man. Let us have it.
We locked in.
Exactly.
Yep.
Rest of the you know what? And it's
Love Island ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. It's the fall time too. We had all summer to be outside.
Yup.
Amen.
Kyle, what you got for us?
Let me hit you guys. So this one was supposed to be on the last episode, so I figured I'd just play it anyways, even though it's gonna freaking kill me.
Okay.
Let's just share. Yeah, it is. It's some freaking lion shit coming.
You got Jared Wonka.
Okay. Okay.
So that's my boy JG, who was supposed to cook tonight, and it did not happen.
That's force multiplier golf.
He cooked all right.
That's my boy. He cooked something up for the other team. That's for sure.
Cooked up that hot air.
Now I got something I think y'all will really like.
Okay. You a bold man for playing that other one. Oh my god.
I had
to. That's bad. That's
hey, we didn't say anything. YouTube can't hit us that hard. We didn't say anything.
Bruh.
Hey man, I was in the same boat.
That's why I didn't read it.
Seeing that in real life is real low-key, like, disturbing and sad, but that is a funny post.
Yeah, well, yeah, facts. Yeah, that's big truth. That shit is sad as fuck. But that being said, Jalen Hurts, what the fuck are you doing? Throw the ball to AJ.
I need it so bad. I need Devonta Smith, bro.
I do too. I mean, I need that Eagles passing game to get going.
I have to tell y'all the nastiest fucking insult I have ever seen on Twitter before. I've been on Twitter since 2012. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that cooked harder than this. This is between @RealFamilyCrete and @Pearl of Wisdom. So I'm gonna refer to Real Family as Real Family, and then Pearl of Wisdom. It looks like her name is Princess Peach. I'm gonna call her that, just for the clarity of this. So Real Family had tweeted, "You have niggas that cash app and send random bitches they will never meet money for food. I'm thankful I'm not one of them." And Princess Peach said, "A nigga that don't get bitches." Out of nowhere, uncalled for. So then he posted some screenshots of her. This is a big woman. This is a big woman. He said, "You look terrible." She said, "A lie don't care who tell it." He said, "I'm looking dead at your ugly ass." She said, "Get your eyes checked. You're mad because you're broke and can't pull bitches. Boo fucking who?" Now remember, the first thing she said was, "Get your eyes checked." He said, "If Ray Charles felt your arm, he wouldn't take you home."
Jesus Christ.
Get him. Get him.
I saw that and was like, oh my God.
Get him.
She said, "Get your eyes checked." She said, "You ain't got to see to know that you disgusting."
Shout out Ray Charles.
That's it for
Stevie
us on
Wonder.
Entry, guys.
Stevie Wonder would have played piano on your ass. He would have.
We will be back Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, for our live show. Thank you for rocking with us. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend. If you know your friends are not watching our show, tune them motherfuckers into us, because we're going to make you laugh and we're going to talk sports. We will see you on the next one. Late Entry, we out. Peace.
We out.